Hey guys, welcome back. Today I just want to do a quick video about a couple books. I got a couple requests, to show some books that will definitely change, your life. And that's a good thing because, if I've been reading my whole life, and every book that I read, have helped me in a lot of ways. And I think, if you could include the reading habit in your life, it would make a big damn difference. All right, you should read, man. You should read always, and you should read good stuff because if I meet somebody that impresses me, the first thing I ask is, what books did you read, man? Because if you read a book and that changes your life, chances are it will change mine. All right, so I just want to go ahead and talk about three quick books that are like, have changed my life, and still, to this day, I pick it up again and I read and I read and I read. You're gonna see, because my books, they're all highlighted. So the first book I would say you have to read, my friend, is Awaken the Giant Within. My fucking friend Tony Robbins. I love him. Who doesn't love Tony Robbins, huh? Shit. Look, you gotta read this book, and you gotta eat it. That's the truth, because it really tells you, Tony Robbins. Why Tony Robbins is great? Because Tony Robbins is a bad motherfucker, man. He was like a beast, and in the 80s, and he is still to this day. He's a fucking killer. He has been around forever, and he is the king. I never met anybody that says like, oh no, Tony Robbins, no. Somebody still has something, from him. And that's why he is amazing. You should read this book. A lot of people would say like read Unlimited Power, which is, his first book. But this one for me is the best, because he doesn't go only into the psychology stuff. This one, he goes into the spiritual stuff as well. And that's why he's great, because he has the two combined. He has spirituality and he has psychology, okay? Tony Robbins, man, if you can get a chance, read this book, because it will fucking awaken the giant within, all right? So next, as Tony Robbins goes into, the psychology, the psychological and the spiritual, it's important to notice that you should have a spiritual connection, okay? You cannot just let that, be too much, oh my God, I just have to tank my mindset into, stuff. You cannot be that kind of person. We don't want that. So, one great book that you should read to combine, your anxieties with the future, and especially if you're a man, your anxieties with being a man, here it is. The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. All right, David Data. He's a great author. I think he lives even in Florida. Maybe he's a Floridian guy. Yeah, it's great. Especially if you're in a relationships with women. To deal with them and know how to harness, their power, right, so to speak. It's a great book, man. You have to tear this book to pieces, because he says a lot of stuff, a lot of spiritual stuff, and basically how you have to behave, in your body. You should like open your chest in certain situations, to let the situation come to you instead of you going to situation. It's kind of different. You're never gonna read anything like it, okay? So, The Way of the Superior Man, David Data, my friends. All right, another book that I would recommend for you to be present in a moment, especially these days that we like, with the phone in our hands, is this one. It's surprisingly good. It's surprisingly good, this book. You would never thought about it. This is called Mastermind. Mastermind, how to think like Sherlock Holmes. Mastermind by the New York Times bestseller Maria Konnikova. So she goes basically explain how her father used to read Sherlock Holmes for her before bed, and how she could, by Sherlock Holmes thinking, pick up, certain clues outside in the world that is real, that people send it to you, a clock that they use or something like that. So it basically teaches you how to be present in the moment and to be mindful, mindful. Be mindful, always present, always know what is happening, always minding your surroundings, my friend. It's really important, okay? So, how to think like Sherlock Holmes, Mastermind, okay? Maria Konnikova. It's the only book I read from her. It's great. All right. So, and to finish, I said that I'm going to give you 3 books, but actually I want to add something special here because it's a great, great book, and I want to like open a new door to talk about this author, which is my favorite author. Is a very controversial, author. You have to be careful with him if you especially thinking about improving your life and understanding more about human nature. I read his book the first time when I was 15 years old, and it definitely shocked the shit out of me. His book is called The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. It's interesting enough because I have all of his books here: Laws of Human Nature, Art of Seduction, the 33 Strategies of War, but I don't have the 48 Laws of Power. Why? Because I let somebody borrow it, and they never gave me back. I bought it, and the funny thing was I bought again, and somebody borrowed it, and it happens. But it's good to give knowledge, like let them know. Fuck it, nobody cares, man. What you care about is applying the knowledge. Okay, so Robert Greene, right? 48 Laws of Power. So go back in time with me again. I was 15 years old when I read the 48 Laws of Power the first time, and it shocked me, man. I was like in high school. So the thing with the 48 Laws of Power is very, very controversial, especially if you're not used to read, books that really peels the fucking hypocrisy of human nature. You gotta go carefully, while you go through the pages of this book, because it's a lot of strong laws, but it's a lot of useful laws. There's something definitely that you couldn't do that he says in the book. It's based on violent human nature and conflict, but it's good, because you have to be aware of the game people are playing. Unless you're gonna go live in a fucking farmer, you're gonna be a farmer for the rest of your life and live not talking with people, you're not gonna deal with this. But if you go into the real world and you want to make something, you have to deal with people. If you're dealing with people in large groups, you have to understand that there is a human nature, going behind that you have to peel it. And you have to understand, you can't be mad. You can't be mad. I've gone through being mad, and it doesn't work, buddy. Okay, so, 48 Laws of Power, any of his books, actually, I would say is a fucking lovely entertaining. That's what it is. You got hooked. You go like, what is this motherfucker saying? Actually, let me tell you one thing about this book specifically, Laws of Human Nature, which is his latest book. So I was reading, as soon as I got out, I was like, I go into the store, I pick it up, I go home, and I read it like 4 days maybe. It's a long book. This is like 600 pages. And the first book in history that I closed it, and I opened again, and I started reading again because it was so fucking interesting. So he's very psychologist. He goes into the human spirit itself, and he kind of shine a light on the darker matter, on the dark side. So it's fucking ugly, And he speaks about a lot of history, a lot of real, happenings in history that changed the history, and this guy did this and this was wrong because he believed, in this side of human nature, and he's not. He gives you, the transgression of the law, the observance of the law, and he gives you the keys to power. So Robert Greene, to end this, for you, especially if you are in that phase that you not understand people, political maneuvers, this is the guy for you, all right? Just, be careful. Don't get paranoid what he says. Because you're going to read his stuff and you're going to go out in the world, you're going to go, open the door and talk to your neighbor, and then you're going to see some of the manipulation he's talking about in the book right there before your eyes. So really nice talking to you, my friends, today. This was like supposed to be a short video, but I guess I can't do it. Really good, folks. I hope to see you soon, so just to talk, just to go through it again. So, Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins, The Way of the Superior Man, Dave Dideta, How to Think Like Sherlock Holmes by the mastermind Maria Konnikova, and any book of my friend Robert Greene. Laws of Human Nature, 33 Strategies of War, The Art of Seduction. She's a This one is very special actually, because you think like, oh, it's seduction, right? How to pick up women. No, this is basically how to seduce the masses. Okay, you're gonna read this and you're gonna understand how John Kennedy get the masses to love him. Actually, he talked a lot of special details. So, folks, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching Impactful Thinking again. And then we keep in touch, right? This week, a lot of amazing stuff is coming.